about it.
Uh-huh.
The burro, donkey,
Yeah.
donkey meat that they during the revolution they used to eat the donkeys, the people that fight the revolutionaries.
Uh-huh.
They used to eat donkey meat. And
How long ago was this, Dad?
oh man, before I was born.
So you're
I
thinking
don't-
before 1900 or in the early?
Yeah, before the 1900s. Must be on the 1800s.
Your grandpa was born in 1860. Is that what you told me a long time ago? Do you remember that anymore?
Your grandfather?
Your grandpa.
My grandfather. I don't really know when he was born.
Because you told me that he passed away when you and Mom got married about 1950. And then you told me that when he passed away, I don't know if you remember this stuff anymore, you told me he was 90.
Yeah, something like
So that means it would have made him, he would have been born in 1860.
1860.
What was his name?
The name?
Yeah.
Viviano.
Viviano.
Viviano. In English it's Vivian.
And his last name?
Vivian Lopez, yeah.
Okay.
And he was divorced when he married my
Your mother?
my
I mean, your grandmother?
my grandmother.
Uh-huh.
My grandmother was the name of my grandmother was Blasa.
Okay.
Blasa.
I remember that. Mhm.
Blasa, yeah. Anyway, what happened? My grandfather was working as a milkman.
A dairyman? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like
milkman.
delivering milk?
Delivered milk, yeah. And he used to deliver milk. That's the story that I heard from my grandmother, for his wife, that she was a servant in her house, and where he was delivering milk. And one day they told her, hey, you wanna go with me? They will get married. And she said yes. Okay, tomorrow you'll be ready. So the next day he come over and deliver the milk, and he was already planning. He was ready for that. So he stole the wagon, it was a buggy, where to deliver the milk.
Mm-hmm.
So he stole that, and they get away. They both get away.
Where'd they go?
Yeah. Well, they was just coming to the border.
Oh, okay.
That was from San Luis Potosí.
Mm-hmm.
There's about I don't know how long it is, but it's almost in the middle of the republic, that town,
So that one property you told me for years and years in San Luis Potosí, who did that belong to?
That used to belong to him
To
and
him?
his
wife?
brother.
Oh, his brother. Okay.
And his brother, yeah. They had about 40 acres, I think,
Mm-hmm.
right around town. Anyway, they left, and they coming when they was coming to the border. They I remember that he said that they was hungry, and they said, well, there's no problem. We can stop and eat with the revolutionaries,
Mm-hmm.
the people that fight. And they stopped by a place where there was some revolutionary camping, and they invited them to eat, the people, the revolutionary. So they went over there and eat, and they started, and I remember that my grandmother said, well, that was a good tasted meat. Kind of sweet, but it was good. And my grandfather told her, you know what kind of meat are you eating? She said, no, it's a donkey meat. And those days they killed the donkeys to eat,
Mm-hmm.
the revolutionary. So they left there and they come to the border because my grandfather, he left all his kids and everybody on the border,
Mm-hmm.
They left over here because during the revolution, they pick up the people and they draft them. They take them to fight.
Hmm.
And
Who were they fighting against?
well, there was a big revolution. They fight against the government. And there was Carranza and all those guys, Villa and all those people. They had a people with them, soldiers with them. So they
This isn't the time of Pancho Villa. This is before, right?
yeah.
This is before Pancho Villa, right?
This one over here?
Yeah.
No, they were the same day.
Same time?
Same time.
Okay.
Same times, yeah. Because everybody, all the revolutionaries, the Villistas or the Carrancistas, and they left because it was coming to the border. My grandfather, he got his mind making on coming, find his kids, because he left all his kids with the men over on the border. They used to work in one hacienda, and when the revolutionaries come in, they took my grandfather as to fight with them.
Hmm.
So they took him, but I'm not sure if it was the revolutionaries,
Oh,
what kind was it.
that's fine.
But anyway,
In the backyard.
anyway, it was in those days, and they got his mind coming over here
Mhm.
and looked for his kids. He left his kid over here. My father and my uncle Ernie
Mhm.
and my aunt, my aunt Otila.
Mhm.
There was my father's sister. Anyway, they come over, and my father was a little kid. There was a small one, so them all.
Mhm.
And according to what my father said, he told me about a story that he was there was working with on this side picking cotton
Mhm.
in Eagle Pass
Wow.
on this side. He was a small one, and that he was they were all picking cotton, and what they used to wear, the kids of the man, they wasn't too good workers. They wasn't working good because they're not used to work.
Mhm.
According to them, they're supposed to be rich because he was the one in charge of the hacienda,
Mhm.
the man. And anyway, when the revolutionaries come and took my grandfather with them, they got scared. They come over to the United States. That man, I forgot the name of the man. Anyway, they come over and they find a place to work, picking cotton, and those days they got camp. They got a lot of black people
Where do you think that was at, Dad? Was that in Texas or?
in Texas.
Mhm.
Yeah, in Texas, some part of Texas. Anyway,
What year was your dad born? Do you remember anymore? Your dad.
my dad born. I think he said he born in 1905.
Do you remember, Mom?
I don't know.
Yeah, because it was 85,
When he passed away?
84 when he died.
He passed away in 85.
Yeah.
Was it 85 or 87?
He was 84.
No, I mean the year. That year, 1987, wasn't it?
I think so. I don't remember.
So he was born in 1903, right on there, Dad.
Yeah, something like that.
1903.
Yeah.
And your mom was born in 1900, Mom?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, they used to live. My father, they used to live in the house because he can work because he got hurt those days playing.
Mhm.
He got hurt on his arms and he would stay at home. And they said that the one black man told him, hey, there was a man come over here looking for you guys. And he said, no, I can be. Yeah. He said it was your dad. He got a one hand because my
Your grandpa?
grandfather.
He was missing a hand, right?
Yeah, he lost a hand.
You say he lost a hand
He
with
lost
fireworks?
on fireworks, yeah.
How old was he? Was he a young guy?
I don't know how old he was, but he was already old. Anyway, they told him, and my father he put two and two together, and he said, that's my dad. He's looking for us. He probably escaped from the
Revolutionaries?
revolutionaries. So he come over and when the people where he was staying with it, they come from work that afternoon. He told his brother Ernie and his sister Otila.
Mhm.
They told him about it, and they say, "Oh yeah, that must be my dad." Yeah,
Mhm.
and they were happy, and they said that night we saw one of those wagons
Mhm.
pull over in front of the house.
Where the house were living?
Yeah, where they were staying. And there must be a tents or something because they were working on a ranch.
Right.
Yeah. So, and
They were tents or maybe those little small labor houses,
Yeah.
those little small houses?
anyway, they went and meet him and everything. Everybody's so happy and everything, and they have a lot of stuff to eat. My grandfather already bought some groceries and everything. He
Mhm.
got him on the wagon. He already got a place to go to work,
Mhm.
uh, and he over there he thanks the old man, the other man from taking his kid, take care of his kid.
Mhm.
And then and then they left, and the old man was so scared. They said, "Don't do that. You know, over here we're not in Mexico. Right here is different. There's some people, cowboys stealing cows and everything, and you might get hurt." And my grandfather, he already know Texas. He wasn't there before when he was young.
Mhm.
So he said, no, I got a place to go. They said, and they took him to, he took him to a ranch. You know, it was dark when they got there. And they saw, they say, my grandfather always liked to joke about, you know.
Mhm.
They said, well, I wonder what we're going to eat today, you know. and they said, let's see if there's anything on that house, you know. There was an empty house in there. They said, let's go there. And my father, he already know my grandfather, so he know he was joking, and he can figure out there was already groceries and there's something.
Mhm.
Anyway, they said they walk in and they saw, oh, we lucky we are, look what we got in there. There was a basket full of groceries.
Uh-huh. So he says that
So,
to playing around, you know? Yeah.
So they sat right there, they eat and they finally, you know, told him everything, how escape and everything. And that's how my father know how he escaped and how he got married with that lady.
So is that the story, how your dad came over here to the United States when he first came?
Well, when they first came, yeah, there were little kids, yeah. And yeah, there was a bunch of things. My grandfather, he liked to gamble and everything. And he bought a horse. He bought a horse, good racing horse.
Mm-hmm.
And he got him on the wagon all the time, you know, pulling the wagon all the time. So he was kind of play tricks on the people. They bet with him racing the horse. And my father, he was always driving the horse because he was a little one. Anyway, that's one of the stories that I like, that I remember more when they were small, when my father was small. And
So like when your dad grew up, then where did, I mean, I want to know about when he was little and then before you were born. What happened to your dad, like in, you know, in the teens and in the 20s?
okay, when they go up those days, they come to there was pretty hard to make a living in the United States, you know. Not the poor people like us that work and everything, but the people that got money, they start losing money on the market and all that stuff. And there was a hard times those days until Hoover, after Hoover became president.
Wait a second, Dad.
Yeah, well, I remember the story that my dad told me when he was little. He said they were moving to Mexico, back to Mexico. And my grandfather was working here and there in the ranches, you know. Anyway, he said one day he was playing. He was playing, my father, they say, was playing with a bunch of kids. And one followed the other one, you know how they play, how the kids play.
Right.
And running all over the place. And so he was running on what do they call them, una vereda, you know.
A path?
Eh?
A path?
Yeah. He was running and there a bunch of kids behind him. And he said he was running and he looked down and he saw a bunch of money, man. Bunch of money like look like it was somebody packed him up pretty good. And
Did he say there was a paper or was it
no,
coins?
it's a paper money.
Oh,
Yeah, paper money. And he say he pick it up and keep running, and he said he was running faster now. He was trying to get it high from the boy. He's running and went and give it to my grandfather. And he said, I don't know how much it was, but for a long time my dad never works.
That's
So it
good.
must be pretty good money.
Hey, Dad, you know what? This is a perfect time. I want you to tell me that story again that you told me. Remember one time you told me at my house. You told me, you want me to tell you a really scary story? You remember the story I'm talking about when your dad was little? You remember?
It's good. No, I don't.
Remember when you told me the story about when your dad was little, him and Titty was over a friend's house and they were playing and it was dark.
Oh, that's
And
him.
remember-
That's him.
That's you.
Dad, that's me and my brothers.
That's him.
You know, tell me that story right now. I don't care if it's out of order. Just go ahead and tell me that story. I love that story. Yeah.
There was not too long ago, Tio Juan, y Caetano, we both talk about that story. You know, it must be last year or year before last that we was talking about it when we was kids, and we remember that story. That was.
After all these years, I still
Yeah.
remember. It's scared of that one.
But those days we were really small kids. I must be about around 10 or 12, something like that, myself. And yeah, because I was just going into third grade, you know, at school.
So you're like Elijah's age.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants
So-
to get the stories here too.
Yeah,
He's listening.
Anyway, there was I remember we went to play with a friend of us. This is about about a block away from our house. We walk over there. We went and play, and it was getting dark, and we was playing cards, you know. And we were so excited to play that they got dark, and they got real light. And finally, his father told him, his name was Chema. Hey, Chema, you better come and go to sleep. Tell your friends good night and go to sleep. And so he probably said, yeah, okay. So he told us good night, so we left. we was walking, and you know how when you're scared, when you're kid, you're scared to the dark. And we were walking back home, the three of us, all together. I don't remember if it was taken by the hand or something. Anyway, we was walk together, and then we hear a voice on the dark, on the on the by the side, We hear a voice. Somebody said, hey kids, come here, come here, come here. And man,
Kuya.
we got scared. And you know why I got so scared? Because it was the same voice of the kid that was playing. And the kid, he was already went to sleep.
Right.
And we was walking home. And that's what I got really scared. And you know how they used to say stories about the devil, that you guys was playing cards, and there's the devil that want to get you. Anyway, pretty soon one of the kids, I don't know if it's Juan or to Tio Cayetano, they start running home, and they leave me alone out in the back. Man, and then I realized that I was alone. So I run, man, I passed him, and I got home, and I never opened the gate to get home, to get inside. I just jumped on top of the
gate. You flew over the gate
of the fence.
Uh-huh.
I jumped the fence and got inside, and by the time the kids come out, I was already in under the covers, and we was talking. Not too long ago about that, and we remember that he say, for us, everybody would notice there was the same voice of them.
So they noticed it too, that it sounded like the same kid too?
And we still, until now, we still don't know who was.
Who that was?
It was
Didn't you tell me that from where you guys lived to get to Chema's house, didn't you tell me there was like a field too?
Yeah, there was a field in
A big field, yeah.
Yeah, there was.
So it was dark in that field,
There
huh?
was dark, and there was no houses. So that's why we were so scared. Oh, but it was something terrific. There was one of those I remember when we were kids.
So getting back to when you were talking about like your dad, when close to the time when you were born, did he meet your mom and you were born in Piedras Negras? Is that right?
No, I born in Rosita. There was another. See, those days it was pretty hard here. On the days that I born, they were doing the
Sabinas, wasn't it
the
Sabinas?
big recession, what do you call it?
Recession. I mean the depression.
The depression.
That's right. Right.
During the depression.
Right.
So my father was here, and my uncle, his brother, he was working on the mines, coal mines in Rosita.
Uh-huh.
And my uncles, all they working over there, and they all had jobs. Only my father was over here on this side working, but my father, because he liked to shoot dice, so he was making all right, but he got no steady job. So they left. He went over to his brother to Mexico, and he started working over there and on the coal mines with him. And that's when he met
Your mom?
my mom and got married, and that's when I was born in all those years. But that was because I born in 1928.
Right.
That was the beginning of the depression.
Now what happened to your mom, Dad?
My mom, she died.
How old were you? Were you just a little boy?
I was 4 years old.
Oh, okay.
4 years old.
Were you 5?
Eh?
We were 5?
4 years old or 5. But
What did she? How did she die?
She died.
Delivering a baby.
Oh, she was trying to deliver a baby.
Yeah.
They
And
both died.
because Juan was just a year old, and we was 1 year.
That's what I said, because the baby, you should have been 5 years old.
5.
So it was my dad, and it was my tia Carmela,
Together.
and tio Caetano first, right?
Yeah,
Tio Caetano, tia Carmela,
and Juan.
and tio Juan,
Yeah,
The baby. that-
and the baby that was coming, and that's when she died. Wow.
Yeah.
So was it from my? I mean, it was going to be the next brother or sister, right?
Yes,
Of my,
uh-huh,
okay.
From Marino.
Mm-hmm.
The same
Wow.
husband.
anyway, from there we went to when my mother died,
Uh-huh.
we went to Sabinas. Sabinas.
Sabinas, that's the town I
yeah,
remember. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Sabinas because my father had all his relatives over
What is
there.
Sabina's Coahuila?
Yeah. And he needs somebody to help him with the kids, I think.
Uh-huh.
So he went over there, and my grandfather took over, He take the kids, but my grandfather, he was pretty hard for him to find job because he only had one hand. So he,
So when so you're saying when they took you to Sabinas because your dad's relatives were.
yeah,
Is that when your grandpa first started taking care of you?
yeah.
Were you at his
Yeah.
house?
And for the thing is, when something like that happens, they start giving the kids away.
Uh-huh.
They start like giving them away, but to take care of them.
Not give them away, but separate them.
Yeah.
Two families.
Like adoption,
Not
right?
really adoption, just to,
Like a foster home.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So my grandfather, he always look at us,
Mhm.
He go and visit us, and the first problem he had was with my father, my grandfather on my mother's side. He gave it because because when my mother married my father, he had a boy. He already
A
had
son.
a kid. Yeah, she had a son.
She had a son.
Yeah.
Is that
Then there was one.
yes.
Soya.
That's your brother who you said who was struck by lightning, right?
Yeah,
That brother? Is that right?
Yes.
yeah.
You went to didn't you go to Mexico to his funeral when he passed away? Is that where you
Yeah.
went?
Yeah, I went
The
by.
little blue truck, right?
Yeah, I couldn't make it.
But he
I
was
couldn't
buried already when he got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was working.
You were
with-
working, yeah.
Yeah, with Christian work. Anyway,
That one last question real fast. So when was the last time you saw Juan when he was alive? Did you go?
I think a year before that.
Oh, you went to visit down there a year
Yeah,
before that.
I used to go visit him once in a while when we was the.
Well, I remember when I was young and I used to see the Mexico stickers you had,
Oh
the black
yeah,
and the
when we
blue.
was young, yeah, we was always going running behind him
Uh-huh.
because he was.
He's the oldest,
one,
yeah, yeah.
And when you kids, how you kids fight over there and everything,
Mhm.
and we would get somebody fighting with us, we're going to tell my brother, and so we used to be pretty close anyway.
Mhm.
Anyway, but he was living with my father, my grandfather
Okay.
on my mother's
So
side.
so did your grandfather on your mother's side want you guys too then?
No, it wasn't him. I know.
Just the oldest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
So were you guys kind of separated a little bit then?
separate, yeah, and then me and my sister, we went and lived with my aunt Shita.
Okay.
Yeah, and the one still lives. I don't know if he still lives.
The one in San Luis Potosí?
No, the one in Cloete,
Okay.
Cloete, Bovil. No, in San Luis Potosí we don't have nobody.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that's another story. In San Luis Potosí, they lost the land over there. My father and his brother died, and they lost it. Anyway, we was
So you guys got separated.
separated. Yeah.
So who'd you go over there with?
I
You?
go with my tia Chita
No, but who you and who else?
and Carmen,
Okay.
my sister Carmen.
Mhm.
And the reason that my sister, my tia Chita, they wanted to take over Sister Carmen because Sister Carmen got sick,
Mhm.
and she was gonna take care of it. And anyway, but I was raised by her and Caetano and Juan. Caetano, he went with my grandfather. That was
Okay.
his baby.
Okay.
He was always one.
What was the name of your grandpa?
Huh?
What was the name of your grandpa?
Viviano.
Viviana.
Vivian.
Viviano, yeah. Anyway, he was there, and Juan, he was with my aunt and uncle Ernie, my father brother.
And what town was that in?
He was in Rosita, Coahuila.
Okay.
Yeah. So somebody was in Rosita, somebody was in Croete, and somebody was in Sabina.
Are these places kind of close, or they're pretty far?
They're close by.
Oh, okay.
They're pretty close.
So you guys seen each other sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We see very often anyway. That's when I started working at, as a
Shepherd.
shepherd. I was about
You're only five.
About five. About five. But you know what I told my grandfather? I want to work because I want you to buy me some shoes or huaraches or something because we don't have no shoes.
Right.
So.
So,
uh,
where you were working as a shepherd, I mean, was it like fields, or was it like desert, or what did it look like?
Like over here when you go up to the hills.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Like brush,
brush
and-
and everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was working in there.
Did they let you take care of? I mean, was it a few? Like, was it 3, 4? Or was it a lot of them, or
Why?
when you were taking care of the sheep, was it a lot of them, or just a few?
There was only 12.
12. Okay. Okay.
No, 11.
Oh, 11. Okay. Yeah.
11.
Mhm.
11 sheep. Anyway, oh man, I can tell you stories about that, you know those things, with any noise they got scared and they take off. They take off and you can find it,
Mhm.
they're running too fast in the brush and everything. And they got together with another
Flock.
another, yeah. So you don't know what they are. Anyway, I used to come home and tell the owner, you know what? I lost the sheep. She said, okay, don't worry, we'll find it. So that day he went and looked for the people. They have some sheep too, and they go and see if they're not there.
Were they branded? You think?
No, but you can know.
You can just
know.
tell which ones you were
can
tied?
tell
Yeah.
from the other. Anyway, then we went to go get it and get a bag. Next time, I remember that I was getting paid 50 cents.
Mm-hmm.
A day?
A week. A week.
50
50 cents a week, and all the beans that I can eat. Yeah, because the lady used to say, you better eat good because
Did
the
you
days
hear
are
that,
long."
Elijah?
This was probably
All the beans
1933.
you can eat.
Eh?
This was probably 1933.
Something like that.
Yeah, 5 years old.
33, 34.
That's right in the Depression, huh?
Yeah, that's the depression, yeah. Anyway, and my grandfather used to buy some uh, salt,
Salt?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
That thing that they put on the juice.
Oh, souls. Okay.
Souls,
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to buy that and make me some huaraches. Huaraches,
He used to make them for you, huh?
Yeah.
Out of leather and everything, and put them
No,
together.
Yes, just make the holes on the salt
Uh-huh.
and cut the pieces of leather,
Leather.
and like strings,
Yeah.
and they tie it, and three strings, and they make a huarache.
Mm-hmm.
3 holes, yeah. One string going into the thumb, and the other one's behind your ¿cómo se llama ese?
The Achilles?
El tacón.
Achilles?
Yeah, anyway, there's El Talón, who's,
Tendon, is it, you see the Achilles going
Yeah.
around the back?
yeah,
Around the back?
yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And that's the one. From there,
When was that you told us, oh, you know, we were there, that you guys were picking nopales and
oh
peeling
yeah,
to sell nopales
yeah.
to survive?
My grandfather used to go sell nopales,
Mhm.
to the people, and bread. He used to sell bread. He never stayed alone. He always working too. But you cannot make no money, so he helped us. He helped us something. Anyway, he was selling bread on the streets,
mhm.
with a basket on a basket, and then he uh, he, he we go to the country and cut cactus, and then we make nopalitos, and he sell it too.
Mhm.
My tia used to clean it.
Would you guys go get the nopales? Would you-
Yeah, we go with my tia.
Just you and,
Yes, me. Well, yes, me.
And your grandpa?
And my grandpa.
Mm.
Yeah.
And they clean them and sell them to survive, you know?
Yeah. and-
was he working anywhere when you were little like that?
Oh,
Your grandpa?
no,
He was already pretty old, huh? He was pretty old.
No, he was not too old those days. I was about my age.
He's young. He was
I'm
young.
not too old. I'm only 80.
Well, I mean, it's like asking you today to go get a job, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you can probably work somewhere.
Yeah.
But you know what was hard for your grandpa is missing a hand and then being older. That's hard.
The only job he used to take, I don't remember, there was watchman. Watchman.
Velador,
Yeah, velador, yeah.
What do they do?
Yeah.
you know, like security guards that.
Oh, watchman. Okay,
Yeah,
I got you.
watchman,
I got you.
yeah.
Security.
Yeah,
Okay.
the only man, the only job you can find.
So they used to sell the nopales so where they can have,
Yeah.
you know, some money to eat and food too. It's
Yeah,
both.
so-
Yeah.
yeah. And then we moved to Sabinas. That's when.
Now, when I know we're getting close to this story, so I want you to tell me.
Well, because my father decided to come back, he was over here in the United States, supposed to send some money.
Uh-huh.
And by those days, it was pretty hard too. There was the depression here.
Right.
So,
So he came back from the United States, and then that's when you guys you moved just back to Salinas.
yeah, we back to Salinas, yeah.
Sabinas. Now, what? This should be about the same time. I don't know if it was in Sabinas or not, but what was it when? I mean, did you want to go to school or did you not want to go to school?
Well, I want to go to school, but
You had to
see,
work.
I don't know what I want.
Oh, you had to work. Okay.
Yeah, I had to work, so I started shining shoes
Okay.
and selling newspaper. And that was a good time for those days because I used to go to school too.
Was this in Sabinas?
And I used to go to school too,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And my father used to be there, And so we had a good times anyway. And my father, I don't know, there was no work in there too.
Oh, that's okay.
He worked on the mines too, I guess, at some time.
Oh, he's working at the mines again.
Part-time,
Uh-huh.
And the mines, yeah, so we was doing all right, but I was used to work all the time, so I would go Chinese shoes and sell a newspaper, and then that's when times start getting good, start getting good over in the United States. So my father come back to the United States and working over there on Eagle Pass.
Well, how old were you when your father left again to Eagle Pass? About how old
I
were you
was about 8 years old.
then? Okay. One last thing I want you to just mention really quick because it's something that I remember for years and years. When you stopped going to school, you want to tell me that story, or you remember the story that I heard about why you stopped going to school?
Well, I stopped going to school because I was shining shoes, and then I want to move we didn't move. I just left and go live with my grandpa, with my dad
Uh-huh.
in Piedras when he was working here. And he, by the time he got married, with another lady, that was when Isidra.
Mention her name, please.
Huh?
Mention the name. What?
Isidra, yeah. Isidra.
You see that?
Isidra.
Okay.
Isidra what? What was her last name?
Paris, I think it was. I'm not sure.
Sure.
Uh, Anyway.
Well, the reason I brought up that story, Dad, and the reason I'm trying to bring up a story, I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but I'm talking about the story that people told me that the reason that you stopped going to school in second grade was because you went to school one time and you couldn't afford shoes, you went without shoes. Is
Well,
that
yeah,
true story?
that's one of the reasons that.
But is that a true story? I don't think I've ever heard that story from you. Everybody's told me though.
Anyway, we were so poor, we don't have no shoes, no clothes. Those days, they want us to go every Monday to wear a tie, wear tie to go to one Monday, every Monday at school. So I used to wear old tie, long one. I mean,
You're like an adult tie, probably.
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Can you hold it?
And so we had a lot of trouble, so I stopped going to school.
I think you want to ask Grandpa something. Did you want to ask Grandpa something, mijo?
Huh?
No, Grandma.
Okay.
Anyway, I remember I was working in Sabinas. My father living in Piedras Negras, and we were over there with my grandfather. And one day I want to see my dad,
That's what I was going to ask him to say that.
I want to see. So remember cuando fuimos a que le pregunté a Caetano, a ese Caetano, we went to a place, we went to see places where we used to live. We used to go,
Mhm.
Tell the story, so
And I went to this place and I said to Caetano, I said, you remember these ladies over here? They live here. They said, yeah, I used to sell the periodical. You too sell periodical? He said, yeah. I said, yeah, I remember. I remember that. It's always sends me for you, the lady over here. He said, when your brother gonna come? And I told him, I don't know, and then I started telling Caetano the story about what I took off with the newspaper money, because we used to get newspaper every day, but we make liquidation of the money from one day before. And that day I took off the money and said what I did. I said, well, how can I do it? Because we all go to pick up the paper.
Now you're in Sabinas when this happened.
Yeah, in Sabinas.
And where was your dad at?
My dad was in Piedras. He was living in Piedras.
it's kind of far.
Oh, okay.
We were living with my grandpa.
Okay.
Anyway, I remember I said, I have planning everything here, very smart. I said, when the paper come, they're gonna come and they throw the paper here and we pick up the paper and we take them to the office and from there they give it to us. Anyway, they say, I want to buy my ticket before the train, because the train dropped the paper in there. And I want to pick up my ticket first, buy my ticket, get ready. And when they come, I just going to tell the boys, hey, I'll come back. I'll come back there. I just going to go use the toilet. And I went to the station, and when the train, that time the train was leaving, so I jumped on the train and take off. and
Did you pay for a ticket?
huh?
Did you pay for a ticket?
Yeah, I paid
Okay.
for the ticket. I had to buy the ticket.
Do you remember how much the ticket cost?
I don't remember how much they
A
cost.
buck, maybe, a 50 cents or a dollar? Or?
No, they cost, I don't know, a couple of pesos, I guess,
Uh-huh.
to Sabina. It's far, it's 90 miles, 90 miles.
Oh, okay, that's an hour. Okay, yeah, that's a good drive. Okay.
Anyway.
And you were, how old were you?
Huh?
How old were you?
Oh, I was
8?
about 8 years old.
It was,
And I left, and I left, and never come back. I thought I was talking with with my father, and my father, I stay.
But how did you know where to go? Oh, you been to Piedras Negras before or no? Have you ever been to Piedras Negras before when you were little or no? Have you been there before?
No,
You've never been there before?
I never.
How did you know where to go look for 'em?
Well, I'll go to the bridge because they told me that he worked on this side.
Okay,
So you have to come back to the bridge.
okay.
I went to the bridge and I stayed there all day, man, waiting for him. And he come late, and when I finally saw him coming down, you know, all the people that were working on this side was going back home.
Right.
So I saw him and I went over and meet him and he told me, "What are you doing here?" I thought, well, my grandfather sent me to see you. I was I was very there was here and see.
Did your dad believe you?
I don't think so.
So did he call your grandpa right away? Say, hey, he's over here.
No, they don't call those days. They send a letter. By the time the letter got there, they already. But he find out. My grandfather find out anyway that I was over there. I stayed over there for a while, and I never come back because my father started bringing the other kids
Oh,
because
okay.
he was already getting married
Okay,
with my stepmother.
okay.
And he started bringing the other kids, and they finally bring all the kids, and his father and everybody. And
So that was probably 1936. If you're 8 years old, 8 or 9, 36, 37.
something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
okay.
yeah. And we started going to school in Mexico, in Piedras Negras.
Mm-hmm.
Piedras Negras, I never went back to school.
Mm-hmm.
I remember all the other kids there, but not me.
Mm-hmm.
I was too big, so I started working.
Oh, you were
I
old enough to
decided-
work now.
I decided to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how old I was, but I was about 13, 14. So I started working
In the restaurant? Will you start working in the restaurant?
everywhere, anywhere. I remember one time I was delivering milk, and one time I was selling pies and selling stuff, and another time I was just working around, you know.
It's all in Piedras Negras?
Yeah, working on the construction
When you worked, were you on the Mexico side or on this side?
on Mexico side.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't come in here. And I worked with the painters, some painters. You know, what my job was to fill up the holes, and nail holes, you know.
Yeah.
And so the painters, I was painting with them. Anyway, so that's how I spent my time over there. I never went to school.
Your younger years?
Your younger years, yeah.
Yeah.
When you were young. So you never, when you were, you know, like 13, 14, you never came over
No, I come over when I was 15.
when you were 15?
I thought you said 13.
No,
I thought you said 13.
no, I was
You
13.
told me 13 when you went with Cochinilla in Washington.
No, I was 15. Wait a minute. No, I was 15 before that. When I went, the first time I went to Mexico, I come over here. I come with my dad. My dad bring me over here.
Where did he bring you to?
They bring me to Michigan.
Michigan, okay.
Yeah.
And you were 13 then, the first time you
I
came?
think I was a 14 or 15.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
What did you guys do in Michigan?
picking cherries,
Uh-huh.
picking ¿cómo se llama?
Tomatoes.
Pepinos, ¿cómo se llama?
Cucumbers.
Yeah, cucumbers, yeah, and beets, you know.
Was it pretty hard? Was it pretty?
Tiny beets.
Was it pretty hard in those days?
Oh man, it sure was. It sure was hard. They sure hole, and you have to go like this.
Oh, not the work, I
And
mean, I
that's
mean
why-
like, I didn't mean the work, I mean like, did you have money to eat and stuff like that back in those days, or?
No, I mean, they was paying good.
Oh,
In
okay,
the United States, they were paying good everywhere.
okay, so you lived better when you came and worked over here?
Sure,
Uh,
sure.
You made a lot more money
Yeah,
than over there?
Yeah,
Mhm.
make more money, yeah. And I was living pretty good. That's why I keep coming every year.
Mhm.
And that's when I was wetback. They call it wetbacks, not call them illegals. They call it wetback, but we are illegal.
Hey, Dad, let me ask you another question that's, I don't know, I don't mean to distract you because you're going in a rhythm here. Didn't you tell me, or was it just a story, was it make-believe story? Did you ever in your life, when you were young, or going around like Texas and that area, did you ever think that you ever heard that, what is that legend? What is it called, La Llorona?
Tell that, La Llorona.
Oh, there was
Eagle Pass.
there was the thing that was going on in my hometown
Oh,
all
okay.
the time. Yeah,
So it was just a legend?
there was a legend.
Uh-huh. But you never experienced it, no?
Yeah, we experienced that.
Well, what happened? Were
Yeah.
you little?
I was already married.
Oh, so you guys were already married when
Yeah,
that experience?
yeah.
Well, what happened?
But it was before, when you heard that, when they told you about that.
No, before that, no.
Before we got married, you
Yeah.
told me about somebody told you about that.
Well, what they told us, everybody was talking about it.
So when you guys,
Uh,
when you guys were married,
We just
Well-
got first married.
did you hear it too, Mom, or no?
No.
Oh, what happened
He
then?
was the one.
What-
He was in the street all the time, so.
Oh, okay, so what happened? Dad, tell me that story.
She remember too,
No, I don't
¿No te acuerdas? We was over there, we was kind of afraid, and then
When you were coming from somewhere.
huh?
You were coming from somewhere.
Yeah, we come from the streets, I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I said when you heard it.
Yeah, and we hear, but I was just going to sleep over here. But you hear too, Yeah, then you got scared too.
No, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
So anyways, Dad, what do you remember?
Huh?
What do you remember?
What I remember, I was just laying down and beside her, and then we hear, I mean, real loud and ugly. You can feel your body all scared.
Where were you at? Were you in Eagle Pass?
Huh?
Where were you at?
You were past.
Eagle Pass?
Eagle Pass, yeah.
Did it make your hairs go up when you?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what he
I
said.
mean, real wild, holy, real bad.
What did it sound like? Like somebody was getting killed or
Somebody
something?
was crying, yeah.
Oh, lady crying.
Like real bad.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay, I didn't mean to mess up your stories. You were telling me about when you first came over here with your dad.
yeah.
Going back to that.
Well, we went to Michigan and we just stayed there and we was getting ready to,
It was the first time you drove a car?
yeah.
An old car,
Yeah,
you said?
see, but we have, the beets, they're not even planted yet. The ground, I don't think they're not even been,
Wasn't
working
ready.
yet. So, we was working in something else with the farms. We used to go to work and, cleaning out, with the cows,
Mm-hmm.
cleaning out all the stuff and put them in wagons and they go and spray it for manure on the field.
Now this was about 1943, right? Right in the middle of World War II, right after Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, right after Pearl Harbor, yeah.
What was Pearl Harbor? 42 or 41?
No,
41.
41. So this would be 1942.
yeah, it was 41 in December, right?
Right.
December
Right.
41, but there was already 42 when
Right.
we was over there. It was just happened. Anyway, when we started going to work and everything, they don't sell gas, car, and
Everything was ration.
everything was
Ration?
ration.
Really?
Yes, ration, yes.
Meat,
Sugar,
sugar, shoes,
everything.
tires, everything. So my dad, he always right away buy a car. He bought a car,
Mhm.
you know, because we was working on it all the
What
time.
was the name of the car? What kind of car was it?
Oh, it was a nice, the first car was a
Model A?
Terraplane.
Yes.
What's that?
know,
Terraplane,
that's what
that's
he
the
told me.
make of the
Theraplant?
Terraplane.
I never heard of it.
Me neither, but he
Yes.
said that's the kind of car that
Yeah.
your grandpa bought.
It was a terraplane, and there was the Kaiser, and cars
But
like
you
that.
started driving with a terraplane, you said.
Terraplane, yeah, I started with a terraplane. It was an old car,
Mhm.
and I started driving. It was exciting.
Did it look like those kind of like back in the gangster days?
Yeah, it was exciting. And my dad, I don't know how. I think I was a little bigger than Elijah,
Yeah.
and he let me drive
You drive it?
let me go. You know. And I used to go to a camp where some other people live. I used to go over there and come back.
This is still in Michigan?
Yeah, in Michigan, yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway,
So what about the story that you I think I heard you tell me and Julian told me, the one about when you were working in the restaurant. Is that many years later?
It was years
It's
later.
in Oregon.
It was years later.
Well, how old were you then? Like 18,
I was
19?
15, 16.
Oh, years later. You're right, Mom. I think the first I was 13, but
13, I
that's
think.
fine, yeah. So we'll finish telling me about Michigan. Did you go back to Mexico?
Yeah, I would go back to Mexico.
Okay. So
And
how long did
and from there we went to Washington.
how long did Michigan last? Maybe a few months, 3 months?
Just go to work, mijo.
Right,
For
the
the,
season,
you know,
and then come
They go
back.
back to
I go
Piedras
back to
Negras.
Mexico,
Okay.
yeah.
Then they went to Washington.
So then the next time you went to
I
Washington.
went to Washington, yeah. And I